Sorry about that, guys. Alright. Yeah, so slept in. I've been just go for the past week. Doesn't really do much help for sleep schedules. And after this, I'm gonna be helping the neighbors out with their computer problems. Just still need to go find some stuff for. Anyway, I was able to make it here on time, for what it's worth. So where were we? We left off with Beatrice in a very odd state. She decided to be a witch and abandon her life as a servant because being a witch was more fun. And she erased the memory of Shannon that there was ever a Yasu there. Which is a very troubling statement. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell that means. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I'm still a bit groggy, but I'll get through it. Trying to figure out the pieces of this story. They keep shoving a lot of things in my face that, while completely avoiding the important things. You know, this game is taunting me. Anyway, we are currently at a scene change. I'm not quite sure where we're at, but we'll figure that out. But Beatrice either A, altered the memories of Shannon to like hypnosis or something, or believed herself to be Shannon and then changed her memories of it to fit what she wanted, which there's evidence of that kind of stuff happening in the last game. Who's the culprit? Well, the way this game is being told, the culprit is a very misleading word, or how they talk about it. The culprit as in trying to figure that out. It's sorry, yeah, it's Shannon Cannon. I can't figure out who the hell Cannon is. I thought it was him. Just going along with that. Still technically could be, but I don't know. And on the last episode we did, last viewing, we touched on at this point it's a mess. There's evidence from the last episode, last show I did, that it's Shannon, because it's unlikely that Shannon's memory was erased, so it's more likely that this Beatrice took on the persona of Shannon as her normal everyday life, and then proceeded to trick herself into being Beatrice, which makes sense. However, well, could make a sort of sense. However, Canon is the big oddity. He exists and doesn't exist. I can't figure out what the hell Canon is. And then there's also accomplices, which are namely probably Genji and Kumasawa. If you aren't counting Shannon and Kennen as well, to hide Beatrice's identity. So they all took part. There's no one culprit type thing, potentially. So I can't answer who is the culprit, because it could be most of them, or probably is all of them, or nobody. It still can be a figment of somebody's imagination. I don't know. I'm still plodding along trying to figure it out. But there is definitely some mental issues going on in the story. And the last one, they, Beatrice, or Leon, or Yasu, or whatever. Yeah, see, they've gone through multiple names, so you can't keep track of who they are. It's currently going through an ego shift, as in, I'm this person. No, now I'm being controlled by this person. No, I'm this person. Now I forgot I was this person. I'm this person. This is the culprit. This is the physical person, but the mental state of them is the question. Hey, welcome. Yeah, it's been a weird week for me, man. Alright. So is the culprit as in the physical person doing the killing? That's the person we're watching. That's this person here. Who this person decided to be, that's the one I can't answer for you. Hey, it's convoluted. And the story is being told in such a way that it's purposely not telling you anything. Anyway, there we go. Watch your step there. Thank you, Captain. Make sure you take good care of yourself. I've got a friend who sells this stuff that's supposed to be great for stiff shoulders. I'll bring you a sample next time. No need to trouble yourself. But thanks for caring. Hey, Brad. How long are you gonna mess around up there? Let's go. Hey, Maria. Come down off the boat with Mama. Maria, who Rosa led by the hand, was still too young for kindergarten. However, she seemed to notice that her cousins, whom she rarely ever saw, were playing all around her, and she was very excited. Battler and George had the energy of middle school or nearly middle school kids. Those two, along with Jessica, who had met them on Nejima, were clambering about on the boat. Is you okay, Asuma? You really don't like writing things, do you? Rudolph lent an arm to his wife, Asuma. That whole thing. Welcome to Rokkenjima. Thank you for making such a long journey. The whole family had gathered for the conference. At this point in time, Rudolph's wife was still Asuma, and Angie hadn't been born. Goda and Canon hadn't yet been employed by the Ushiromiya family, and the witch's epitaph, which would toy with the family's fate, hadn't appeared yet. They probably couldn't even imagine the bizarre crime that they would encounter several years later. Cross-sama, Madame, the family has arrived. Good. Should I call for father? Please do. I'll go welcome everyone. Oh, Shannon. Look at this window frame. It still has dust on it. Quickly, wipe it off. As you wish, madam. Oh, come on. Let's see if he's making her work so hard again. Just what good does she find in such a limited, ulcer-inducing life? I wanted to know. That's one of the other things. In the last chapter, there's a good one. In chapter, Yasu was talked about as being a clumsy, forgetful person. And in the earlier episodes of the game, Shannon was talked about as a clumsy, forgetful person. And they were nervous around the guests or whatnot. Such as, like, forgetting to pour the tea or talk or do things, whatever. Yes. 7. You're on the 7th one. And so, pretty sure Shannon and Canon are related in this thing somehow, but I don't know how. It's pretty obvious that this is the target, but you want that target, and it's somewhere in this area. I've narrowed it down from everything else, as far as I can tell, or I'm also being led along, so whatever. I've stopped trying to predict anything. I can't remember all the details needed to put this all together, so being strung along. Shannon, what is it that you found? And what did you mean when you said I already knew what I was missing? Shannon, is this something I must learn by learning about you? What's different about the day of the family conference on Rockinjima? It's gotta be the noise. There's never this many kids around. It may have been a tension-filled day for the adults, but to us kids, it was a wonderful day. The only time we got to see all of the cousins we love. Bit of a difference there. In the summer, we'd play with our cousins on the beach. And even in the winter, there were plenty of games we could play. And there's also Battler. Battler is a very big anomaly. The family conferences were tons of fun for us. I've been told I've been near the truth for the past 3 episodes now. So, yeah. I don't quite know what value in that statement there is quite yet. Anyway, but thank you. Same here. Mom was always yelling about how there must be no mistakes. But to me, it was just the day I got to play with all my cousins. After all, there's usually nothing at all to do on Rockinjima. Back when I was a little brat, I was always jealous of Jessica, getting to live in this huge mansion with a private beach. But now that I try putting myself in her shoes, it must have been a pretty constricting place to live. Probably. There's hardly anything on Rockinjima. No friends' houses, no next-door neighbors, no neighborhood. If you think of how Jessica must have felt, you have to feel a little sad for her. That's why the family conference is so special to me. Jumping around, messing around. It felt like I was at a festival. We played tricks on each other all the time. It's the adults who always talk about adult things and told you to go play somewhere else. Then you were 3 cousins at about the same age. Of course you'd horse around. No, not the 3 of us. The 4 of us. But I thought Angie wasn't born yet, and Maria was still too young to play with you. You got it wrong, Furfur. The cousins weren't the only ones at the same age. Shannon-chan was the 4th. And she was about the same age as the rest of us. Mom was always going on about not talking with the certain kids. But Shannon and I started to get close. After all, she was the girl closest to me in age on Rockinjima. All 4 of us played together. We played at every family conference. Right, Shannon? Beatrice. Without love, it cannot be seen. Something like that, right? Yeah, thank you. Alright. I knew that Madden would scold me if she found out. I wouldn't have let her. You were always the one close friend I had who could understand me. And the other things is, if Shannon was their age at this time, when they're playing around and they were young, Shannon could not have been the friend of Beatrice. This Shannon has to be Beatrice because that would be the only way her age would make sense at the time. Because the mentor Shannon for Beatrice would be too old. She was already the perfect that's just great, man. Apparently there's an extra chapter that helps a bit as well, but the mentor Shannon cannot be the age of the cousins at this stage. That is a time discrepancy that doesn't match up. They have to be two separate people, or a figment of an imagination and a perceived persona, which I believe is what the current Shannon is. It's a altered view of self and an altered identity is, I think, 100% confirmed here. I just can't tell you exactly what or how. Yeah. After I read the 8th episode, which is still a ways away, I will be reading an extra manga chapter that'll help sum up. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but you guys will tell me when I get there. It's on the to-do list, and I haven't looked it up in case that spoilers pop out at me, so I'm just going to run into it when I get there. I wouldn't have let her. You were always the one close friend I had who could understand me. Thank you for your words, my lady. I simply could not hide my shock. How had she formed a relationship with the children of the family, despite being only a servant? Natsuhi had probably been very careful to prevent such a relationship. However, it's no surprise that Jessica, all alone on this island, would want to be friends with a kid her age. Well, they have yet to disprove that statement, and they toy with it all the fucking time. The biggest example would be Rosa and Maria, where Rosa turns into Eva Beatrice, the evil witch, and Maria sees Rosa as the good mama and the bad mama. The bad mama is the one who does all the horrible things. The good mama doesn't do that, even though they are physically the same person. Take that concept, apply it to the entire rest of the game, and you've got a lot of loopholes you can fit. Eva is dead. Eva the persona is dead. Eva the witch is still alive. And now everything is tossed into whack, and they don't define any of this stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of leeway if you just think of a person as a persona, because there's also the Beatrice is one yet many, and you can apply that as Beatrice the concept, the witch who pulls pranks on everybody, is like Genji and Kumasawa and say Shannon, perpetuating the belief or the existence of Beatrice. She doesn't physically exist, but if Genji keeps unlocking windows and Kumasawa keeps spreading rumors and Shannon keeps being forgetful about things, there you go. Beatrice now exists, but doesn't actually physically exist. I doubt it's like that, but I believe that is a key part in a lot of this. So, yeah, I just don't have enough information to definitively say one way or the other how it is, but I'm pretty sure it's amalgam of a lot of stuff that like that. And Shannon was also alone on this island, without any friends her age. Though they both understood their relationship as master and servant, they somehow managed to strike up a friendship. Then, at the family conference, Jessica had introduced Shannon to George and Battler. All of the adults had their hands full with their complicated discussion in the mansion. During that time, Shannon was able to set aside her role as a servant for a little bit, acting her age with Jessica, George, and Battler. I didn't even know that Shannon had constructed this new world so quickly. As a butterfly hiding in the shadows, I observed this new world of Shannon's. The artwork also doesn't quite help me piece a lot of this together, because they keep showing Shannon as her default age, even though she should technically be younger. It's jarring. It's hard to keep it. It's purposely confusing, I think. That day, we ran all around the rose garden and the beach. Saving on assets. Just throwing around and playing was a blast. Yep. Those were the only times that Shannon should smile like a girl her age. It might have gotten a bit carried away. It's embarrassing. Battler's insanely huge now, but back then, Shannon and I were both taller and stronger than him. I just grew slowly back then. They say that those who start late end up the tallest. Kind of true. One of the other things, though, oddly enough, is that females age or mature a little quicker, so they grow up and reach their mature height faster than males do. They tend to grow up a bit slower later and taller in general. Not always, but rule of thumb type of thing. Yeah, totally. Back then, your chest was nothing like this, right? I haven't seen that picture in a long time. That's not true. Shannon already had plenty of womanly charm back then, right? Who knows? What the hell do you mean by womanly charm, you perv? Well, I was still pretty cute back then myself. That bra strap you could see through the shoulder of her summer clothing set off the lighting of youth from me. I remember whispering with George and Nikki that night about how big her tits might be. Is this true, George-sama? I believe there's been some sort of misunderstanding. All I remember was lecturing him as the older and more knowledgeable cousin about the differences between how boys and girls grow. Oh, thank you for the follow, Alpha John. Please correct me on any of that. And so, rather than dirty talk between cousins late at night, it was instead a sign of healthy growth and, yeah, I remember all of us cousins talking about stuff like that until midnight. About how apparently someone in the next class had kissed someone else, or how you held hands with a girl you liked at summer camp, and about so-and-so who thought you probably liked you, stuff like that. It's so embarrassing. Sure. Isn't that nice? Another sweet page in the book of adolescence. The most pure love comes when boys and girls first start noticing each other. That simple, pure desire just to be around someone of the opposite sex. The noble first loves. Just wonderful. A bunch of kids thinking and talking about the world of love. Is it weird that There's sprites bug me because they just never move. It's the same sprite, just flipped and moved around and shifted to get those things. And it's also literally the same thing recolored. Should that bug me? Did that sort of thing really happen? Don't play dumb. You were the most absorbed and curious of all of us. Sit there till even your ears turned red. I was not curious. I was just surprised at how much everyone knew. Hello, hello. Sorry I missed out this morning, but welcome, welcome. Gang's all here. And that's right. Shannon always played dumb the most, even though she was the most interested. She was the biggest pervert there. That's not true. That's not true. I hate you, my lady. No, it was always like this. In the day, we'd run around like kids, and at night, we'd hug our pillows and talk about secret stuff. Looking back on all of it now, really brings back some fond memories. We'd be whispering about something dirty, and whenever we heard the footsteps of the adults coming by, we'd jump under the covers and pretend to be sleeping. Yeah, I remember that. Like some school field trip. Those times we all dove under the covers at once. It felt like some sort of unspoken rule. Like a strange sense of unity. I really liked that feeling. Become famous? Absolutely. By followers? Totally. Nah. Thanks though. Well, anyway, that's not all we talked about. There's a lot more than that. We really did enjoy our youth to the fullest. And what is this? Shannon, is this that fun thing of the human world? Is this incomprehensible messing around the thing that you found? A bunch of kids gathered together, playing stupid games and talking about trivial matters? Is this the human pleasure you found that surpasses the pleasures of witches? Yes. Doesn't it look fun to you? I won't call it boring. However, I cannot see how such a vulgar game can compare to my paradise, where all wishes can be granted. Interacting with people is a lot of fun. And of course, I also think your world is fun. But even so, I choose this world. I don't understand. I don't understand at all. Beatrice held her head as though she was having a headache, but no matter how much she grimaced, she couldn't think of an answer. Tell me, what is it you found within this vulgar plan? Do you want to know? I do. Love. Should have expected that non-answer. Love? Here. It's the Queen book I promised. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to borrow it. That's okay. You can keep it, Shannon-chan. I've already read it. But I can't accept this. It's probably expensive. It's just something I got for a few hundred yen at a bazaar. Don't worry about it. I'd rather if you read it quickly so we can talk about it. Is this... I don't think this specifically is the incident that Battler doesn't remember, but this is probably something similar to it. I think it might have happened a little later, right, as he was leaving. Or maybe this is it. We'll find out. I'd rather if you read it quickly, so we can talk about it. It's fun to talk about this sort of stuff with you, Shannon-chan. Yes, it's fun for me too. It's much more fun to read mystery novels with two people instead of alone. Yeah, it is. I like talking about it and imagining all kinds of things. With mystery novels, reading's only half the fun. I have theories that you can only really enjoy it when you talk with other people who read it too. Big difference, honestly. Our relationship began when we realized that we both read mystery novels. We were both surprised and very interested to find that the others not only read tons of mystery novels, but read them very thoroughly. Ever since then, it's been like this. Separate from the games we played with other cousins, the two of us met together for some time alone. At first, it was like a sort of contest to see who knew more than the other. However, eventually, this turned into respect for how much the other had read and how deeply they were able to think about it. Respect, trust, those emotions made our friendship even stronger. Of course, all of that had still fallen within the category of friendship, but we were still slightly aware of the fact that the other was of the opposite sex, making for a relationship that was charming or youthful, or maybe you could call it exciting. However, we were still at the age where calling us young men and women would probably be a bit too gracious. Of course, we didn't know a thing about love, so we couldn't understand that exciting feeling in our chests, both bitter and sweet, that we only felt when we were alone together. However, we realized that there was some unknown emotion hidden behind that feeling, and as our hearts raced, we had our hands upon the door. That was the exciting age we were at. So, at some point, our discussions about mystery novels became just an excuse for us meeting alone. There aren't many mystery novels that care much about the why done it. The why done it? You mean the culprit's motive? Yeah. There are 3 points you need to figure out in mystery novels. The who done it, the how done it, and the why done it. A lot of mysteries deal with the first two, but surprisingly few worry about the final one. Well, I know about many works that take great care to have the culprit confess his motives after he's been found out. But it has to be something you can reason out before the culprit confesses, or it doesn't count. Personally, I think it's unfair for a person who supposedly didn't have a motive to commit the crime, unless it's possible to reason his or her motive out. Who done it? Who's the culprit? How done it? How did he commit the crime? Why done it? Why did he commit the crime? There are a ton of works that ask about who the culprit is, and what tricks they used. In fact, almost all are like that. However, I don't think there are many novels that ask you to figure out the motive. Good point. That might be the most neglected of the 3. Mysteries that don't take the why done it seriously don't really feel complete to me. No, I'm not saying they're boring. It's more like they're missing the most important part. The most important part is missing? The heart. The heart is missing. The heart. I know someone else who talks like that. I think the human heart is a really important thing. If a person's going to decide to commit murder, plan it out, get everything ready, and actually carry it out, you'd need an incredibly strong force of the heart. The heart is what moves people. In other words, only the heart can kill a person. When an emotional appeal grows strong enough to make a person want to kill, the result is the tragedy called murder. A very important sentence right there. If we turn it around, does that mean that the true way to close in on the crime is by searching for the heart that brings about the tragedy of murder? Only the heart can kill a person. So, if a person has been killed, you must search for that heart. That's what he's saying. That's why I can't really enjoy novels where the culprit is just a homicidal maniac who kills for fun. Then you like novels that show a strong enough movement in the heart to lead to murder? That's right. My favorite ones are the novels that let you reason that out. As he spoke, he looked back at me and smiled. Before today, I used to like novels that focus on exposing tricks. However, I decided to look for novels like the ones he recommended in the future. I don't like neglecting the heart. The heart is what makes people move. Yeah, I think you're right. This isn't limited to the mystery genre. All humans are motivated by their hearts all the time. Being able to notice the heart is what allows for interaction between people. No, interactions between hearts. None of us humans can live on our own. And yet, we have no way of peeking into the hearts of others. That's why every meeting between people is a mystery of the heart. Finding those, reasoning about them, and understanding each other is a key to interactions between people and hearts. The two of us are here, all alone, talking together about mysteries. And through that, we are searching out each other's hearts, speaking of the heart's mysteries. I want you to feel about me, the way I feel about you. We're both searching, trying to figure out the depths of the other's heart in this mystery of love. The aspect of love. The author uses love in an intentionally very vague way, just to mess with you. Yeah, it's if you just have I'm evil because I'm evil, it's not quite as motivating. But if you have I'm evil because my family was dying if I didn't, that's a much more impressive motive. Or I decided to do this to save somebody. I decided to do this because I just absolutely hated this person for the slight they did years ago. It makes a bit more interesting things. They put me in prison. They did this, they did that. It's a driving force. It's not just a spot to fill out on a checkbox. It's a reason why. Yeah, I agree with a better built character in the world. Look how late it's gotten. I wonder if Aniki and the others are waiting for us. Yes, we should probably go back soon. Time seems to fly by when I'm talking with you, Shannon-chan. He seemed to be speaking the words of my heart. We were thinking the same thing, so the same words came out. I wish we could talk together like this forever. I hate clocks. Same here. Talking about this stuff with you is the most fun part of coming to Rokkenjima. When I saw that his smiling eyes were looking right at me, I turned away. I couldn't let him see my suddenly red face. If only I could leave this place. I'd be able to read so much more. The bookshop in Ijima that I go to and the bookshop he goes to in the city are on completely different scales. I've run into things like that. The book exchange between the two of us had become completely one-sided, with him giving me all the books. How long do you plan to be a servant, Shannon-chan? I don't know. If someday you decide to quit, if I do, come over to my place. He said it almost carelessly. Maybe he was a bit embarrassed since he laughed weakly and blushed a little. And then, we won't need to worry about time running out anymore. That's right. We could be together as long as we wanted. The little secret dates on this island only happened a few times a year. And even when they did happen, it was only for a short, uncertain period of time. It wouldn't work over the phone or with letters. We can only talk about our mystery when we're standing together like this. I know that day will come someday. You think it will? Yeah, I'm certain of it. Certain? Why is he certain? When that day comes, I'll come for you. riding a white horse. What? After saying this, he turned away. He was probably too proud to show me his blushing cheeks, but even without seeing, I knew what his face looked like. To come riding on a white horse. Isn't that like a prince riding a white horse? So what exactly does that mean? Does it mean you're gonna be my prince? My mind was going blank, so I just couldn't reason out his mystery of love, even though it was all plain and simple. I wonder. Alright, thanks for hanging around, Mando. Thanks for hanging around, man. It was nice to be while you were here. Take care. I wonder when that day will come. Anytime you're ready. Huh? My heart skipped a beat. It was so sweet, yet it hurt. Anytime's good for me. This is your life we're talking about, Shannon-chan. You shouldn't think about it carefully before you decide. And once you've made up your mind, I'll respect your decision, no matter when you make it. Okay. I'll keep on waiting until that day comes. If only I'd been a bit more foolish and courageous. I could have said then and there that I was already prepared, and asked him to take me away from this island right away. But I couldn't say it. I had to think carefully about my future, for both our sakes. My head was filled with pointless, senseless thoughts. I'm glad. Thank you. With his back still to me, he scratched his head and laughed. I knew he was doing this out of embarrassment, so I could clearly tell what his expression must have been. In the same way, he must have realized what my face looked like. We're both puzzle solvers of love. We theorized about each other's love, solving each other's mysteries. Thanks for giving me time. You have all the time in the world. No. I'd feel bad if I kept you waiting too long. So, I've decided. No, I should say that I will decide. I don't mean that I'll quit my job today, right now. Yes, 1 year. 1 year from now. If a year after now you still feel like coming for me on a white horse, and me too, if I still like you a year from now, I'd like to dedicate the rest of my life to you. 1 year from now, right here, I'd like to make my decision. A year, huh? That sounds good. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. It's a good amount of time to look honestly into your heart. So, next year, please, come for me, okay? Yep. He responded to my cowardly determination with a quick, strong answer. I'll be waiting for that day to come. Yes, I'll be waiting too. Make sure you come, okay? Yeah. Don't forget. Come here next year, okay? Yeah. I'll come. That's for certain. I'll meet you here. That's for certain. So this was the incident, isn't it? I see. So, this emotion that feels like sweet suffocation is love. And on the other aspect of love, Beatrice being Kinzo's child and grandchild, and Battler also being his grandchild, any of the cousins would be a forbidden love. Ay. Big oof. Big oof. That's not something you should try and forget. Though it's understandable that Battler couldn't make it. His family split up and sent him away. He finally came back 6 years later, and that's when 5 years overdue. I see. So, this emotion that feels like sweet suffocation is love? It is an emotion I do not know, one I do not have. Though my magic can grant any wish, though my paradise can grant any wish, that thing I cannot have, that incomprehensible emotion that burns like fire, and yet madly one wants to hold it close. All I know is that no matter how great a witch I might become, I cannot create this emotion. It must be given by another person. For the first time, I realized that I wasn't all-powerful, and I knew what Shannon had discovered in the world of humans. This emotion, it's just too much. Once you've felt it, there's no forgetting it, is there? Shannon, you win. Love, is it? It may be the most important element, and the one that I lack. Shannon, I'll watch and see how your love develops. So please, teach me more and more about this new emotion. Umineko no Naku Kodo Nichiru, Nocturne of Truths and Illusions. Big oof. It's been a while. This form is... I'm lending it to you. After all, I hate idiots. Call yourself Claire. That doesn't help. That's a temporary name. Or would you prefer Beato? You have my gratitude. This way, I won't have to expose my pitiful form. Burncastle had given Claire a fake form. See, just more hiding. It was a temporary form for the person acting the part of Beatrice. A fake. To fool those who still hadn't discovered Beatrice's true form. Then, is this a tale about me in another world? Leon, this is indeed a tale of you in another world, and also my tale. And see, that statement logistically doesn't make any sense. They are not the same person, mentally. They are not the same person physically. They are, well, they may be, but they're different. They're different people. But they're also classifying them as the same person. I hate that. The tale of a world where I live as a witch, not a human. I am capable of imagining what-if scenarios for my own life. However, the tale you tell is beyond anything I can imagine. Even so, it's the life that another you has led. But still, that doesn't mean I can accept it easily. Leon suddenly yelled and looked at the floor. Leon already knew. Because of the fragments lent by Burncastle, Leon knew. There was a different world, where Leon lived as the Golden Witch Beatrice. And in this world, eventually, on the day of 1986, October, family conference, she would be the ringleader of a terrible crime. Even if it is a different world, you're saying that I get my entire family and all the servants involved in a terrible crime that I'm the mastermind of? How am I supposed to deal with that? Be quiet, listen, and figure it out. In a different life, I end up as a servant. And if that wasn't enough, I suddenly become a witch. And then I eventually carry out several terrifying murders. How am I supposed to understand that? Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I doubt anyone could understand. No shit. This person here thought that no one would ever understand. That's why you're here. And that's why Burncastle brought you two. Two people who never should have met together like this. It's not like I had any deep reason for it. It was just a whim. This is a motive that no one else can understand, Leon. So you need to be the one to understand it. I'm not the main character in this tale. You are. I'm just here to help you understand. You said that you understand the culprit's motive. Yes. Is that motive a satisfying explanation for why I'd kill my entire family? It's not the question to ask. Who knows? That's for you to decide. Even if I say it's satisfying, that doesn't mean it'll satisfy you. You have to decide that for yourself. I really don't have a clue what's going on. I've seen several crimes called game boards that Beatrice supposedly carried out. And now I'm hearing another me talk about a different life from mine. But there's no connection between that and the crime. I don't understand. Yeah, and the multiple board aspect, that's the giant monkey wrench in all of this. If it was just a single thing, it could be figured out, but it's if multiple that are and are not connected, there's so much ambiguity, I can't put it together. Why does multiple games need to be done in the first place? At this point in the tale, even I could not have dreamed that I would eventually carry out such terrible crimes. In fact, even if I had been able to dream of it, I did not have the power to commit those crimes at that time. Probably. Your misfortune probably came when you solved the epitaph's riddle. Huh? You mean an epitaph about the hidden gold? Which grandfather supposedly wrote? There exists a system for gaining different accomplices for each crime. Reasoning can lead us to the possibility that the culprit possessed a vast amount of money. We can also envision another system which involves inviting all to the Golden Land and making all loves bear fruit. So, it wasn't just the motive. You've already seen that far as well. That's the answer to the final riddle from the fourth game. Your greatest misfortune was solving the epitaph, reviving as the Golden Witch in the truest sense, and gaining magical power. Looking back, was that really misfortune after all? I do not know. However, as long as the fact that Battler's son returns in 1986 remains unchanged, some sort of tragedy would certainly have occurred. That's right. If Battler had returned a year earlier or later, that incident might not have occurred. No, some small incident probably would have occurred, and it would surely have been a mysterious, impossible incident which no one could have explained. But even so, compared to the Rakunjima serial murders, it would have been a tiny thing. If Battler-kun had returned a year earlier or later, then what? Fate can be so filled with irony. It made me walk the path of a witch, and when I solved the epitaph, I became a true witch. Then, 6 years passed, and I learned of his return. If all that was fate, then this crime must have been inevitable and inescapable for me. In 1980, Battler was resentful because of the deaths of his mother, Asumu, and his father's remarriage that came too soon, so he left the Ushimiya family. For 6 whole years, he had no direct contact with them. He convinced his grandparents of his mother's side to help him and went by his mother's maiden name. Then, when those grandparents passed away, he finally made up with Rudolph and returned to the Ushimiya family again in 1986. That bad luck gave birth to your motive for the crime. I did wonder, why, after 6 whole years, did he finally come back? I understand. In a way, it would have been better for you if he had never come back. Of course, my suffering would have continued. However, I may not have tainted myself with the unspeakable crime of mass murder. It's just mass murder, no big. How could Battler-kun leaving create a motive? You've got it backwards. Backwards? The crime didn't occur because Battler left. It happened because Battler came back. The more I think about it, Ushimiya Battler was quite a disagreeable man. More than anything else, because he never realized that the outbreak of the crime was his fault. He did remember, in the end. However, that was long after you gave up and disappeared. If that is so, then it would give my heart some peace. I don't have a clue what you two are talking about anymore, but I'd like to ask you bluntly. Bluntly helps. I want to know, what on earth happened to you that made you decide to commit a crime? Yes, that's the most important part. It's just like how Ushimiya Battler respected the Waitan in mystery novels. That's where the answers to all the riddles are hidden, both in the tales of the Golden Witch and in the game. In that case, allow me to continue this crazy tale. 1980, 6 years before I resolved myself to committing the crime. Chapter 6, Days of Trials. 1980, 6 years until the incident. Battler-sama has left the Ushimiya family? That's what Krauss-sama and Rudolph-sama were saying. Reaching it. I've apparently been reaching it for months now. I have no intention of criticizing your way of life or your family situation. Batra! However, father is in a towering rage. Disinheriting his son is one thing, but I've never even heard of a child becoming fed up and leaving the family on his own. Battler can be surprisingly stubborn, sort of like someone else I know. If you aren't able to understand Battler-kun's feelings, one might question your right to be a father. Enough, Natsuhi. I'm sure Rudolph was just trying to show how dedicated he was to raising Kiri-san's child in his own way. What? What? Sure, Rudolph was just trying to show how dedicated he was to raising Kiri-san's child in his own way. Wasn't that child a miscarriage? I would have nothing to say if this were happening next year. But why this year? He's still in his period of mourning. If you consider the timing of this pregnancy, one must acknowledge that Rudolph-san has acted disgracefully. I remember that one, yeah. Don't be so harsh. This is my way of atoning for what I've done. Battler-kun trying to protest against you on behalf of his departed mother, Asumu-san. I deeply understand how he feels. If we were here, I would want to hold him and cry along with him. Natsuhi's words were sharp. They pierced Rudolph mercilessly. Rudolph had no retort. His relationship with Kiri had been adulterous, plain and simple. According to Rudolph, he had been close to Kiri longer than Asumu, and even after his marriage to Asumu, that relationship had not disappeared. What the hell does that mean? You old bastard. So you've just been betraying Mom from the start. Sure, I know Kiri-san. You've told me that she was your business partner and a friend whose advice you could always rely on. If you're trying to say after all this time that she was more than that, then why should I give a damn? After Mom's death, you could have done whatever you wanted. I'm right there with you, saying that you should live life as you please. But just when did Kiri-san get pregnant? Back when Mom was still alive, right? Yeah, now I find this silly. So this is why you always make me want to vomit. Are you glad that Mom's finally dead now? You are, aren't you? I'm sure it would have been so hard on you, keeping your infidelity and even a kid's secret while Mom was still alive. But now that Mom conveniently kicked it, you get to marry Kiri-san, and I get a new little brother or sister? You can bet that Mom's crying in heaven. You bastard. You're embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. So embarrassed I can't stand to have the same last name as you. The kid is completely guiltless. It would be too sad if he or she didn't have both parents together. Go ahead, build a new family and raise that kid to have a happy life. But I'll never forgive you. Mom isn't here to hate you anymore, so I'll hate you in her place, with all of my body and soul. So long, old bastard. That is enough, Natsuhi. Rudolph hasn't lost the affection he feels for Batman-kun. It may take some time, but he wants to fix their relationship one day. As any father should. If it were some complete stranger, that would be one thing. But this is your own flesh and blood son. It's clearly your responsibility. Go ahead. Despise me all you want. I won't argue. That's the only way I can atone. At the very least, make sure you give the new child a happy life. The kid who's going to be born, and Battler. They're both my kids. Wedding Kiri-san after Asumu-san's death may have been painful for Battler-kun, but it was the best choice you could make for the coming child. I understand why you did it. And I understand why Battler-kun felt like telling you that you were happy Asumu-san is dead. Stop, Natsuhi. Rudolph has already been scolded enough by the person most fit to do so. Now then, how about some black tea? Could you go ask someone in the kitchen to make us some? Understood. Natsuhi took this as a signal to leave the room and did so. Once she left, Kraus relaxed slightly. I feel bad for Asumu-san, but if we consider the timing of that soon-to-be-born child, this might have been quite the coincidence. Almost as though Asumu knew that, stepped down from the stage of her own choosing. Did I kill Asumu? If so, how long has it been since I started killing her? Natsuki was originally one of my favorites, but she's grown less so over the chapters. If you still treasure Asumu-san's memory, then no matter how many years it takes, you must fix your relationship with Battler-kun. Yeah, I know. And be sure to pour just as much affection on Kiri-san and the new child that is to be born, while also bearing Asumu-san's cross. If they have reserved seeing in hell, Yes, they do. I'd like to reserve myself a VIP spot. Probably. Rudolph's character is well known from everybody. So she probably knew, considering how smart these people were. And how didn't Kiri go on to say that they were fighting over him and she went out because of pregnancy? Or the kid. It was the kid. Wait. Battler and the other child were a miscarriage. Angie is the new one, so I had the timing rearranged. Okay, so yeah, she definitely knew. The news that Battler had abandoned the Ushimiya name swept across the family. And poor Battler-san too. I do believe that he'll make up with them eventually, but this is a matter for the family. It is not something servants need concern themselves with. Instead, we should focus on memorizing the face of the newest member of the Ushimiya family, Kiri-sama. Yes, that's true. She will be coming to the family conference this year. This person who just joined the Ushimiya family would be coming to the conference. And what about the person who just left the family? From Kiri's tale of getting Rudolph, they were in a fierce race, and Asumu played to the womanly wiles. Asumu seduced Rudolph to get married. Kiri tried to be the business partner to get married. So Asumu was very knowledgeable about Rudolph's preferences and tastes and whatnot. So she knew very well what Rudolph was like, and since Kiri was the business partner, I'm pretty sure she knew. That's not a difficult question to ask, based off the knowledge I have currently anyway. Then what about the person who just left the family? That means Battler isn't coming, right? That seems the most probable outcome. How lonely is the loss of a single noisy man? Though most people felt a bit lonely to see Battler leave the Ushimiya family, they didn't think any more about it than that. However, what about Shannon? Wasn't Battler supposed to come for her on a white horse? There is that, yeah. But, wasn't it, she died during childbirth? That would be a very, well-known event. They had doctors and nurses. You can't just kill them in childbirth without somebody else knowing about it. She could have, like, pulled life support or something like that, which would be less noticeable, but still, whatever. And yeah, that part, Kiri has quite clearly stated she would not be put past that. She was thinking about it for a long time. So it's possible. I can't say for certain one way or the other, though. Without knowing how Asumu died in the first place. We just know that she died after the kid. So, wait, my memory's off. I'm mixing facts. I'll need to fact check, maybe. Asumu and Kiri were going after Rudolph at the beginning, and Asumu got pregnant with Battler, right? And that happened. And Kiri had a miscarriage, I believe. Yeah, Kiri had a miscarriage, which is why Asumu got married. And now Kiri has a second pregnancy, and this one is Angie. So when did Asumu die? This year. Why did Asumu die this year? I can't remember. I was surprised at first. I thought that, since he had left the family, he might not be coming to this island anymore. If you consider Battler-san's feelings, this is only natural, I guess. I understand painfully well why he wanted to leave his family. But does that mean he won't come to Rakushima anymore? What on earth is going on? But I can't remember the series of events. So much bullshit that you can't keep track of it all, man. Will he really never return? Unable to ask him this directly, I was forced to live each day fretfully. Battler-san, I understand how you feel, but to say that you'll never return because you've abandoned your family, that's a lie, right? I was so confused that the world seemed to be spinning around me. I had a tight feeling in my chest and couldn't think about anything. That doesn't help when people are trying to figure shit out, man. When I happened to touch my cheek, I was surprised to find it hot and wet. Should it be, all that surprising that I would take that at face value on this story? As it is a potential? I happened to touch my cheek, and I was surprised to find it hot and wet. While wearing a truly miserable expression on my face, I was crying.
Shannon.
Shannon. From far away, I could hear someone calling to me. But it was a very strange sort of distance. Though it felt very far away, the voice also seemed to be coming from right beside me. Shannon, I know your heart. It's okay. It's just a fight between a boy and his father. And I'm sure the rumors blow everything out of proportion. Everything's just being exaggerated. Indeed. There are none who can say with certainty that Battler will not return to this island. You would do well to remain strong. Where is this place? I seem to remember it somehow. I think it reminds me of the scenery from a strange dream I once had. Then this must be another dream. I was there, under the arbor, surrounded by a golden rose garden, and two witches in white and red dresses were showering words of encouragement upon me. You can be sure that those rumor-mongering young servants are embellishing the story however they please. So, he has changed his name, they say. Surely this can be nothing more than a family quarrel. Thank you. I wish I could believe that. Of course it's true. He's a boy, after all. You can hardly be surprised that he had a few arguments with his dad. Precisely, as you say. Clearly, they'll make it up to each other once they cool their heads. When men argue, it's always fiery at first, but they burn out quickly. Usually. In contrast, an argument between women burns like a steady flame, but the fuel never goes dry. Yeah, men's arguments are fierce but short, and quick and easy. Get things over with and done with. Then you can go start working on more important things. You're right. I hope Battler-san and Rudolph-san make up soon. No, they will. Haven't you heard Battler mentioning it all the time? He always fights with his father. This is just another of those fights. The death of his mother and his father's remarriage have merely upset him. It sounds as though he's gone to live with his mother's parents. But after he's cuddles, it cooled his head for a few days. He'll come back. It's like a kid running away from home. See? The two witches kept saying that Battler's fight hadn't been anything huge. If it had been a mere family quarrel, the rumors wouldn't have started in the first place. Taking an optimistic view here isn't likely to prove useful. Either way, this is a problem between Battler and his father. If you're patient, time will heal all wounds. There's no point in you feeling bad over it. Just because Battler happened to be absent today doesn't mean we can be sure he'll never come back. All this means is that Rudolph came alone today. True. Of course, he'll be at the next family conference, as energetic as ever. By then, Rudolph will probably bring that Kiri here too. Battler may be sulky about it, but I am certain that he will come as well. You're right. Yeah. I'm sure you're right. How nice would it be if they were right? In fact, if I could, I'd like to flip to the calendar until autumn right now and check to see whether he comes to the next conference. If he does, then all of my fears are groundless. It would mean the rumor-mongering family members and servants have just blown things out of proportion. If Battler-san was right here, I'd want to question him right away. Hey, isn't it true that you'll never come to Rockinjima again, right? And then, if he said that of course he would come again, it would be such a relief. I don't know the phone number of Rudolph-sama's house, but I could probably look it up if I tried. However, as a servant of the family, I have no excuse for making such a call. And anyway, I have no way of knowing the phone number for Battler's grandparents' house. I can't do anything except wait for Rudolph-sama's family to come visit and hope that my fears are groundless. However, will I be able to make it through the day feeling like this? No way. I doubt I'll sleep a wink tonight. Just waiting around, feeling like this, when I don't know when my next chance will come. I can't do that. Will it be next month, or the month after? In the worst case, I might have to wait until the next family conference. I have to wait that long while holding back the suffocating feeling. I can't bear it. Hey, Shannon. Sorry to ask this out of the blue, but when you made up your mind to do something by the next year, that something wasn't just quitting work as a servant on this island, right? I made the decision to start a new life. I didn't want to keep on being a servant by force of habit. I made the decision to step into a new life and to leave my old life as a servant behind. And Battler promised that he'd come here on the day of your decision, right? Yes. Tact is not one of my strong points, so I shall speak frankly. You made the decision and resolved yourself to starting a new life with Battler, correct? You never speak frankly, Beatrice. A new life with Battler-san. You were afraid that Battler will not come for you on the day of your decision. However, there is more to that day of decision than just Battler coming to see you. It's also the day for you to show that you are determined to spend the rest of your life with him. This determination is something you must create for yourself. It won't bear fruit simply because Battler shows up. Shannon, do you now have the determination to spend the rest of your life with him? You decided to put it off until the next family conference because you didn't have that determination last time, right? What does it mean to live life with Battler? Have you ever thought seriously about it in detail? Well, as long as I'm working as a servant on Rockinjima, my opportunities for meeting him are limited. We're both underage, so it's too early to talk about, marriage. However, if I quit working as a servant, I should have many more opportunities to meet him. Once I quit working here, I'll return to the Fukuin house. I have my wages from serving the family, so I should have more than enough to travel to Battler's house to play. And when I graduate from school, I can rent an apartment near Battler's house. Then, well, I can work while going to school. That life would be a lot more difficult than I first thought. However, I'd be able to see Battler's much more often. If not every day, then every week. I won't be a servant anymore, so there won't be any difference in class. I can call him whenever I want, and I'm already doing both school and work. Thanks to my experience here, I know more than enough to do simple housework. Doesn't that sound like a fun life? You can rent a humble abode, and once you've built up your own home, you can invite Battler over. And then, the time you spend together, the world the two of you make, will begin. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Yes, it does sound a bit wonderful. This was the first time I had ever imagined that future clearly. My love for him and my honest desire to live my life with him. Earlier, I was able to consider both of these deeply. However, now that I'm clearly imagining the future I plan to choose, I finally understand. I must be aware of how much determination will be needed to reach that future. Your dream of marriage. Eventually, don't you? Oh, girls these days. Dating with marriage in mind at such a young age. Well, that's a bit, don't deny your dreams, okay? There's no point in taking a first step if your eyes are closed and you don't look to the future. If a girl's in love with a man, there's nothing wrong with thinking, I want to marry him. That's a young girl's natural right. My face had turned bright red. Earlier, I thought that considering marriage really was a bit premature, so I tried as best I could not to think about it. However, when the witches encouraged me to imagine it, that image was both exciting and vivid. Why is Beatrice talking about marriage? She didn't understand love. I felt an indescribable feeling of refreshment and awakening, like the gentle breeze that washes over you when you go outside during a brief spot of sunshine on a rainy day. That's right. I didn't actually have the determination to go that far. I need to strengthen my determination by the time the next family conference comes around. If I can't do that, then sticking around as a servant on this island is no more than I deserve. And at the same time, this is also a trial. True. A trial that will be overcome. A trial? Why is that? Fool. Battler promised that he would come for you at the next family conference. Did he not? He said he'd come on a white horse, right? Yes. You're thinking that Battler will not come anymore. In other words, you have no faith in Battler's promise. That's why this is a trial. To pass through this trial, you'll have to show that you can trust him and wait. A trial. I hadn't thought of it that way. Since he promised to come for me in a year, then I need to believe that he'll come for me in a year. If I doubt that, I don't have the right to wait for him in the first place. In fact, Battler might have left you from the family because he set his sights on a future with you. Oh? Why would that be? If he knows that you will live together and eventually exchange marriage vows, having the name Ushumiya will cause problems, since Shannon is a servant of the Ushumiya family. Ah, I see. He realizes that there will be all kinds of trouble if he decides to marry a servant girl, so he's abandoned the Ushumiya name beforehand. What do you think, Shannon? That way, everything makes sense. Battler has abandoned the Ushumiya name for your sake. The sudden argument with Rudolph was just an excuse. Splendid reasoning. Nice going, Richie. What do you say, Shannon? What do you think, everyone? There's no reason to feel down. On the contrary, it's as though Battler has shown his determination first. A smile had finally returned to my face. Of course, I hadn't taken the witches seriously and let myself be reassured. It was closer to the opposite. It was almost funny that they could think up such ridiculously convenient explanations for everything. However, they had made all those ridiculous theories to cheer me up. The witches are right when they say I must trust Battler's son, and that there's no point moping about just because I've heard a few rumors. Until the next family conference, I intend to strengthen my resolve, and I believe that he'll accept my feelings and comfort me. The idea that Battler left the family so that he could be married to me someday was laughable, of course. But right now, I should try and feel confident enough to accept even crazy ideas like that. Thanks so much. I feel a lot better now. That is well. I cannot stand watching you cry yourself to sleep. Thanks for coming into my dreams to encourage me. Indeed. It'll be morning soon. This is all a dream. You won't remember any of it when you wake. However, your heart will be at peace. Yes, I'll believe in him and wait. So I won't listen to every little rumor. Very good. Wait until the next conference while improving yourself. If you think of it as training to become a wife, all of your everyday chores will grow more meaningful. Thanks a lot. Riche, it'll be morning soon. Is that so? And so long, Shannon. You may not remember me, but I will always be by your side, watching over you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. The next family conference will be here in a flash. Wait for it at your leisure. Battler will certainly keep his promise. I think that would be a good stopping point for today. 1 year later. It's 1981. 5 years until the incident. Pleased to meet you. My name is Kiri. I hope we can all become quick friends. I bet the reason that the event happens on 1986 specifically is because that was the year that George proposed to Shannon, as has been pounded into our head every time we have a game, except for one of them, the fourth one maybe, I don't know. But yeah, George proposes to Shannon. Shannon accepts. It's the year that Battler has arrived to the island. Beatrice is only there at night. Beatrice realizes that Battler didn't keep his promise and goes crazy and goes after everyone. Leaves for me a family. Crude reasoning, but I guess that could be a thing. And why it always happens after midnight, because that's when Beatrice appears. Maybe. Oh well. We'll figure it out. Or we won't. We'll at least be here for the ride. Anyway. That's it for today. I'm gonna try and relax this weekend and figure some stuff out. Yes, that's the year Battler returns. And it's the year that George proposes. Every game has George proposing at this year and Battler coming into it that year. So that creates a conflict. Anywho, bye bye. Adios, amigos.